as we welcomed in Azila, they kicked. I don't want to say they kicked out, but a lot of folks went to the door and left because that content that was based on Zyla's approval did not meet the approval of those long-term fans who probably wouldn't have liked Next Generation, wouldn't have liked the original series because of the same reasons a lot of people hated on those shows as well. Last thing I'll say about this show being canceled real quick is I do got to big up your boy Captain Kirk, because at least he's been a little weird over the years and said some crazy stuff. But in this particular instance, he did have the right thing to say, which essentially was, look, man, during the first airing of my Star Trek series where a kiss was objectionable, talking about when he had to kiss Uhura. And now keep in mind, in this show, this wasn't no romantic. This wasn't him and Uhura finally linking up. The reason why they kissed is because they were being controlled by a mind controller who forced them to have these interactions. That's a whole different story. All right. Many Southern stations pulled the episode and condemned the show. Using today's vernacular, it would have been absolutely been called woke DEI crap because it went against norms of society for its time. Not a lot seems to have changed. So yeah, I do think there's a heavy element of that involved. And Paramount did what they could to kind of push against it, but unfortunately, it didn't necessarily make it. So I will leave this right here, and then we can move on to Paradise. But this is how our friend Kareem. Oh, go ahead, bro.
I had a question because and this is more to Ant because I think Ant probably might know. Ant, does Paramount own the rights to all of the Star Trek properties?
Yes,
all of it, every last bit of it. And it's interesting. I've always been conflicted because these new owners have always been big proponents of sci-fi. They also own the Terminator franchise, the Ellison family. They're the ones that brought it back with Terminator 3 forward. I with Star Trek, there's so much to say about this, but I think a lot of it could be just boiled down to the way that it was written. The old Star Trek series were always attacking societal norms and trying to induce tolerance. That's what the whole franchise has always stood for. But it was more veiled. It was hidden, right? People were like, oh, right. Klingon. Like when my wife started watching Star Trek Discovery, she saw Klingons. Guess what she identified that with? Guess what? Not just any. She was like, yo, those the Jamaicans. And I was like, oh, shit. The dreads. They stubborn, like all that energy. I'm like, all right, I feel what you're saying. And it was like there, but people could miss it. People could watch the show and just not even get it. And some people saw how intelligent the writing was, where every race was a representation of some sort of culture or group of people that represented the times. This is way more clear. And it's a challenge because you guys are right. You have to try to honor the old fans and try to bring them into this series while also attracting new fans. And new fans, they're just these kids different. They not you can't ask them to critically think too hard. Some of them be sitting over here like, oh, racism is over. Why they just don't get stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So
like you have to write for two audiences where this one you have to kind of spell it out for them. And then you have the other audience that's like, yo, we're a little heavy-handed.